Well, I don't know about you, but I thought the Big Five was done with their early spring patterns, but it looks like they weren't because the Butterick release has recently dropped. Hi, I'm Tiffany of Tip Stitch and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here we talk everything sewing and DIY. Well, we all know that Butterick isn't really the most popular of the Big Five lineup. They are often overlooked because they don't really have fashion-forward patterns. So much so that Carmen, or Cag the Mag, or Cag Reinvented, depending on where you follow her, has issued a Butterick Baddie Challenge. This challenge is to inspire sewists to look at the line drawings or more of the bones of the pattern so they can figure out a way to make a pattern that maybe looks boring on the envelope, fashion forward, and trendy. If you want to learn more about this challenge that she's doing with Black Sewing Network, make sure that you follow her. I will link to her here on YouTube, IG, and TikTok so you can learn more about the Butterick Baddie Challenge. Now, as usual, I am going to go through the patterns here and give you my thoughts on them, but I am going to do something a little bit different. Instead of doing the pop-ups to the side like I usually do, I'm going to show you on my screen what I'm looking at, and I feel like this way we'll be able to look at the pictures and the line drawings a little bit more so we can talk a little bit more in detail about what I like or what I don't like. So be sure to let me know in the comments if you prefer this style or back when I had the pop-up sort of on the side. But without further ado, let's get into it. First up, for this early spring release from Butterick, we have 6973, and this is a very classic trouser pattern. It is wide leg, it has a contoured or curved waistband, it has your fly front zipper, it has your pleats in the front, and if you look at the line drawing, it has the double darts in the back. And this is not surprising because a Palmer Pletch pattern is not only going to have great instructions for how to construct the pattern, it's going to have excellent instructions on how to fit the pattern to you, which is important, especially in a pair of pants. These are a classics trouser that really stand this test of time. You have your slash pockets. This is a really good pant. I'm not a huge fan of pleated front pants, so I may not grab these, but if you are, this would be a really good pattern to grab, not only for the instructions and the fitting tips, but because this is just really a classic trouser that you can wear for any occasion or reason. And I do appreciate the fact that this goes up to a size 26. Of course, I would like it better if they went up to a 36, but a 26 is better than them simply stopping at the 16. So I think we're in better shape here. They also have this crop length, which I'm not as much of a fan of, but if that's your thing, that would be really cool. But I do love a wide leg trouser. I'm just not as sold on the pleats, but this is a good pattern. I definitely would consider grabbing this one. 6974 is what they call a shirt dress pattern, but I don't really consider this a shirt dress pattern. For me, shirt dresses have collar stands and collars, whereas this has more of a lapel neck, which actually sort of matures it for me. It sort of dates it a bit. But this is another Palmer Pletch pattern, so that you can see that there are great opportunities for getting a good fit here as well. You can't see it in the line drawings because for some reason they didn't add line drawings, but even if you just look at the model, you can see that there are fisheye darts along the front, and then you get to the back view, you also have the fisheye darts in the back, so you can get that nice fit in your waist from your bust to your waist to your hips. So from that aspect, I think it's a really good pattern. It's just really not my style. Like I said, it doesn't have the collar stand with the collar. It also doesn't have the real placket for the buttons. Like, they're just sort of there. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this one. Now, if you want a whole mini wardrobe in one pattern, grab 6975 because this is a jacket, a top, a dress, and pants. Like, you have everything in this pattern. So this jacket for view A, you also don't for some reason have line drawings for this pattern. I don't really understand why. But for A, I think is the jacket, which is a very simple jacket, so that's not all that impressive, but it's the fact that it comes in this whole catalog in one pattern. So you're going to have the jacket, you're going to have the long sleeve tee, which actually you again can't see because there are no line drawings, but I zoomed in on this image, which I don't know that I can do here. Let's try. right? If you zoom in on this, you see how there's this wide collar around the neck. I think that's a very nice touch. It has raglan sleeves, which I'm always a fan of. One, because they're easy to sew, and two, because they're comfortable to wear, right? It's already a knit top, so it's going to be comfortable anyway. So I think this is a really cute look. And then you have the pants here. There seems to be two pants. There's this crop pant here, view D, and then there's also this slim fit, longer full length pant, view E. You can also see view E over here in the set look. And you can see how you can pair it all together, right? You can wear the tops with the pants, you can throw on the jacket, and then you have the dress, which is honestly just a longer view version of view B. It's just taking that down to dress length, but again, I like that wide collar band, and you could pair that with the jacket. So it's giving you several looks in one pattern, which I'm always a fan of. So if this is your style, then I think this would be a great pattern to grab because you can have several different looks in one pattern envelope. When this goes on sale for $1.99 at JoJo's, this is going to be a great time to buy this because you can get several looks. It's actually probably for me worth it just to get the top view because I think it's cute and I would wear it, and I would probably also wear the dress. So for me, this is super cute. I can already envision, because y'all know I love a color blocking the wide collar and the dress. I think that would be very cute in a simple black dress with a nice white wide collar, or let's say a red dress with like a hot pink wide collar band. Super cute. I probably wouldn't make the jacket. I doubt that I would make the capris. I'd probably only make the top, the dress, and maybe the pants. I'd have to see more details because, again, there are no line drawings. It says in the description that it is a fly front with back darts and a contoured waistband, which, I mean, from this view, they could just be pull-on elastic pants for all I know. But if they have a fly front and back darts, then I'm going to assume that they're a decently drafted pattern. Again, it's Palmer Pletch, so it should be. But you're just not giving me a lot to work with here. And I feel like they have to have technical line drawings. So why they didn't make the website, I'm not sure. Again, this goes up to a 24 this time, not a 26. Not sure why there's the difference there, but at least it's going up into the 20s. I mean, I would prefer 26, 28, 30s, but I guess we'll take what we can get. 6976 is described as a lounge set. Again, this is by Palmer Pletch, so I guess they just really have like a grip on this early spring pattern drop because this is like the fourth pattern and we're still just on Palmer Pletch. But anyway, this lounge set definitely looks like a lounge set to me. If we take a closer look, the view that's on the model very much looks like pajamas, right? And then the view that you have here in the background of view V very much looks like a robe. It looks like, you're going to be Blanche Devereauxing if you're a Golden Girls fan around the house. So while I definitely think it's cute as loungewear, my loungewear is typically more cozy, comfy looking than this, but I could definitely see it for lounging around the house. Now, the exception is view A here, minus the sleeves, looks a little bit more pulled together like something you would wear outside the house, and I could see this being a dress that you would wear out because at this point it just sort of looks like a wrap dress. I'm not really sure why when you add the sleeves, it gives me robe vibes, but it does. Y'all let me know if it does for you too. Now, I can also see this view with the pants. It's giving me sort of like a chic modern look, sort of an Asian aesthetic, like a Mandarin collar. It's not one, but it's sort of giving me that feel. It might be the sketch that they're using for this pattern in particular. I'm not really sure. I don't really love the crop pants with it, but that's not a part of this pattern anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, the rest of the views very much look like loungewear or housewear to me, which isn't a bad thing because that's exactly what they are marketing it to be. We do have the line drawings for this one, so we can take a closer look at that. And the view that I said that I liked was C for the shirt and the sleeveless version of the dress. So apparently it's something about the sleeves that's not doing anything for me. And the pants here are very basic. They're just pull-on elastic pants. Finally, we've moved on to a pattern that is not Palmer Pletch. This is 6977, and it is a shirt dress. Now, this one to me feels more like a shirt dress. Again, if you look at the line drawing, you can see that there is a collar stand and a collar. But let's look back at the pattern for a minute. I don't like this, and I won't be grabbing it because I don't like how there's no definition at the waist. If there was a waist seam before we got to the two tiers of ruffles, I think I could have been a fan of this dress, because when I look at it here on the model in view A, the way she has it cinched made me think that that was the difference in these views, not just the sleeve length. I thought the waist seam was what made the difference, but there's not one there. We'll look at it in a second in the line drawing. But I'm just not a huge fan of this like drop waist look. It doesn't look good on me. And that's just me speaking from personal experience. Like I said, on the model with the tie, I actually think it looks fine. When you come down here and look at the line drawing, you can see that the only difference between A and B is the fact that A has short sleeves and B has longer sleeves, right? You could do the tie for either. And it just has this very long dropped waist. I'm sure that I could hack it and put in a waist seam here, but I'm not going to bother. So while I think that the overall look of this dress is cute and someone else could definitely pull it off, probably a taller person, I'm not a fan and won't be making it, but it's a cute style. When I first looked at Butterick 6978, I thought this pattern was just for the cape. Clearly, I wasn't reading cape, top, and pants, right? But let's still start with the cape. It's very simple because typically capes aren't that complicated anyway. You know, there are no actual sleeves, it's not really fitted. There's nothing really difficult about the construction of most capes. You can see here, even the line drawing is fairly basic, but this is why I like it. I always like a high collar stand like this on a cape, because to me a cape is something that you wear when it's chilly and windy, and that way you protect your neck. But also I like how the slits for the arms are on the side seams, which is where your arms more naturally want to come out. And that allows for, in this front seam, this front side seam, for you to have a pocket so you can keep your arms, your hands rather, nice and toasty while your arms are coming out. So I think this is super cute. I don't particularly like the styling that they did on the models, because you can see on the models here, they have it more in like a satin shantung, and it looks very dressy and sort of matronly to me. But I think in the right fabric, this could be very cute. And then, like I said, it does actually include other views. They don't actually show you the top by itself in the pictures or the photos here. We'll look at it in the line drawings, but you can see that both of the ladies have on these like straight leg pants. And here you can see that it's a slim fit pant that has gross grain ribbon in the waist, which just means it's a faced waist. It doesn't have a waist band per se, which is not the kind of pant I typically like to make, especially in a woven. I'll do it in a knit where you have an elastic facing, but I don't really love it in a woven pant. But you can see here there's also just a very simple shell. And this is nothing to be excited about, but it doesn't hurt to have one of these in your repertoire. And they have two lengths, so you can have the longer, more tunic length, or the shorter length. Either way, you're going to have a cute little side split. So this is just a basic top that you would wear in a corporate situation, under a suit, over a pair of slacks in the summer, under a cardigan, you know, in the spring, something like that. So this is definitely a good wardrobe builder if you're in a professional setting, but I also just really like the cape, just not the way they have it styled. 6979 is another corporate workplace appropriate piece, and this is a collarless, like blazer or collarless jacket. It has princess seams, which I always like, and it comes in two lengths. One stops right above the hips and one starts like right below the hips, so you have some variety there. Again, you're going to have, let's look at the line drawing, this front seam here on both the longer and the shorter. You're going to have the front side seam has pockets, which I always love. The other thing that I love, because if you follow me, you know I'm not the biggest fan of sewing on buttons and buttonholes. And this actually calls for, you can see in the description, zipper closure that's then hidden by the flap, right? So I would rather insert a zipper. Now, I know some people also hate zippers. That's just personal preference. And so it looks a little matronly and nursey here. But again, I think that this with a nice pair of slacks, or this over a nice pencil skirt in the shorter length, would be rather cute. And the truth is, you know, sometimes you just need, like, I think this look is perfectly fine. I don't like the colors that they picked, but like, I think this is very cute, very professional. And if that's the kind of items that you need to sew, this would be a good one to grab. I don't know that I might grab this one. I was originally thinking that I wouldn't, because I don't I only go in the office twice a week and we're not this formal. But I just like this. I could see this for church. I got to see this for a lot of things. So I may grab this one. Just as soon as they had me, they lost me. This is 6980, and I get that they were going for something different here with this asymmetrical button situation. You can see it better here on the line drawing. You have just two different sort of sleeve views here. Everything else is pretty much the same. I don't like this. I get that there's only so many ways to make a blouse interesting, but I am not a fan. I especially do not like this floral color that they used in this one. This looks like a woman's version of those ugly Hawaiian shirts. I'm sorry to anybody who likes this, that's your prerogative. This is just not my style. I don't get it. And I usually like things that are a little bit off kilter or asymmetrical, but this is just not hitting it. I don't like it in any view. I just especially hate it in that bright print that they have here. But I mean, if you like it, go get it. I don't know what else to say about this one. This was a complete miss for me. 6981 is also not for me, but at least I see where they were going with it. You have both the half sleeve or the elbow sleeve and the sleeveless version available. This is one where we're going to go ahead and take a look at these pictures, but it's going to be better served to look at the line drawing. So you have a collar here, a loose fitting shirt or tunic, and then you have this band on the front, and you can see in this color blocked version a little bit more what you have going on here. These are the back pieces rolling around to the front. The front has this bottom band. You have a loose, weird neck band. And then there's a back view somewhere. Where's the back view? You can't really see it in this back view, but you can see it in this one. So in this, you're going to have a color blocking option for both the left and the right side. And then you have this weird gusset of a third fabric if you would like to come out from there. So while I'm all for color blocking, and I would think you would have to because you just really lose all the detail when you do it without the color blocking. So then sort of like, what's the point of constructing all of that? I don't love this. Someone I'm sure can do great things with it, but I don't get it. Yeah, sorry. 89, 6982, I'm sorry, doesn't look like much. But it's sort of cute, y'all. You gotta look at the line drawings. I always say, look at the line drawings. Now, half of this release don't got line drawings, so I don't know what you're supposed to do about that. But look at the line drawings, okay? This top on the actual person isn't done in the best fabric, but I'm sort of feeling it. You have a raglan sleeve, a statement sleeve at that. You have a stand collar, which y'all can tell I'm a fan of. And then you have like the slit front on the top. It also comes with the pants in both the cropped and the longer length, which again, I didn't realize at first. But I sort of like all these pieces separately. I could see wearing this over leggings or over the slim pants like they have it. I like how the sleeves are sort of voluminous. I love it again because it's a raglan sleeve. So I think this is a pattern that doesn't look like much on the pattern envelope, but could really do great things when you whip it up yourself. Now, this is basically just a jean pattern here, a flared jean pattern. So, you know, you can never have too many jean patterns, I guess. So that's cute, but let's take a closer look at these line drawings. So I think that though this shirt does look a little matronly when you look at it here, I really think this could work, y'all. Y'all might not see the same vision I'm seeing, but I feel like this could work. I think I like the longer sleeve and not the shorter sleeve, but I feel like this could work. And again, I mean, the flares are coming back, y'all, so a nice flare jean would be cute as well. It has the nice yoke in the back, like it just is like a very classic pair of jeans. Now, this very short fly makes me think it's more of a mid-rise. Let's look back at the description, but I feel like this is more of a mid-rise fit where I am all about my high-rise pants at this point. But I might could consider this or alter it to be high-rise. I would also probably never do view C, the cropped length, because that just looks weird on me. But let's see. It doesn't say here. It says footed bootcut jeans, but it doesn't say where it fits on the waist. Let's check really quickly and see if it says here. It does not say where. Oh, no, 1 3/4 inch below the waist. So yeah, this is a little bit low waisted. So maybe I would skip these jeans, but regardless, I can see myself making the top. If I do, I'll make sure that I show it with y'all and see if y'all agree that you can make this top look very fashionable. Butterick 6983 is sort of the shirt dress that I was talking about before with the 2 tiers of ruffles. Is sort of that dress with the waist seam that I wished it had, but now I don't like the neckline. Okay, let's get into it. You can see here on the front, this white version especially just looks sort of matronly, like it looks like you need to be a nurse's assistant in a hospital in the 50s. I don't know. This image that's sketched in the pink looks a little bit more trendy and youthful, but I sort of feel like that's just a sketch. I don't know. This very much looks like they made it out of the muslin. They just took the muslin and they just put it on the cover. And I don't know why you would do that. I just think I'm not a fan of the neckline. There's really nothing per se wrong with this aside from the way that they styled it. It's just something about the neckline doesn't really appeal to me. I definitely don't like it with the trim here. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. I could definitely see somebody making it. The thing that I love about all tiered dresses is that you could color block it, which I always think is fun. They're nice and light and flowy for, spring and summer. So I get the appeal, but there are other ones that I would rather get besides Butterick 6983. 6984 is a unisex pattern, and I'll just be honest, I'm not usually a fan of the unisex patterns. That's just me. Sometimes they're on point, but a lot of times they're not. And this is just a very basic collared button-up shirt with pockets and different sleeve lengths, and then very basic pants. Now, again, this is a front pleated pant, so apparently pleats are going to be very in this year because they're on all the patterns. But this is, has the front pleats in the front, and then you have some darts in the back, so there is some opportunity for fitting. This does not look like a contoured waistband. Like, they're just very basic pieces, which I guess there is a need for this somewhere. But if you're going to draft a pair of pants that could be fit for a man or a woman, that's not a knit like sweat pant or pull-on pant, I'm just not convinced that this is going to fit me well. And I'm not going to waste my time trying it. There's also too many blouse, short sleeve, long sleeve patterns for men and women that I don't want this unisex pattern. But I'm sure that this will appeal to somebody, and I hope that they do amazing things with it. I do like that you get multiple views in this. You get a short sleeve, a long sleeve, a short, and a pant. So you do get 4 views out of this pattern, but it's not one that I'll be grabbing. All right, we are moving on to a couple of retro patterns. Now, I'm not usually a fan of retro patterns. So I'm not really a fan of this one, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. This is a throwback to the 70s with a wrap and go dress. So what I do think is cute is I love a wrap dress of sort of like any era. So I do think that that part's fun and cute. This just sort of looks like an apron to me, like a dressed up apron, which is I guess what wrap dresses really just look like in general. But I'm not a huge fan. I just don't hate it. Like, I could definitely see somebody else making it. I do like that they took it up to a 26, as that's my problem with simplicity sometimes when they do retro patterns. They don't make it more size inclusive. Of course, as a retro pattern, they don't redo the line art. So this is all we have here. This is the back view. So basically, I guess you do this bodice in the back, and then there is a whole front piece. I don't know if it's one piece or 2 pieces because, again, no line drawing. And then you wrap the side panels around to the front. So yeah, it's not one that I would get, but if this 70s vibe is your thing, or you're going to a themed event, this would be a cute and probably very easy pattern to sew because you're not going to have any zippers or buttons or, any type of closures to worry about. So in that respect, I guess it's a cute little pattern. The last pattern is 6986, and again, this is another retro pattern, but this one I can sort of get on board with. This one is just the skirt, and it's again another 70s wrap and go look. But this skirt is a little bit unique in the fact that the wrap is in the back, and I think you can actually see it better in the photos than you can in the line drawings. So this almost looks like the wrapped seam here, but it's not. It's just a front seam where you can see her hand is going in to a pocket there. So the wrap is actually in the back. So let's get to it. See how you can see the wrap is in the back here, which means the other piece of the wrap is back here somewhere being covered up. which you may think, oh, that's concerning. What if the flap opens, the wind gets you? And that's probably a very valid point. But I've never had a skirt that wraps in the back, so I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I do think at least the idea is cute. It's a little bit different than what you think of when you think of a wrap dress. Again, here you can see this is where the wrap overlap is. So it's sort of like a wrap skirt on, but backwards. And we can take a look at the line drawing here as well. I just wanted to show the pictures first, so I actually think it's clearer to see there, where this is the center front. You have the two front inseam pockets, which I do like. And then you wrap these two ends around in the back and then pull it around to the front to tie. So I think this is a very cute look. I also think you could probably just take a wrap skirt and twist it around backwards, but I think this is cute. Again, it's going to be easy, no zipper, no buttons, no darts, no snaps. It's just a quick sew some seams and a hem, and then you're good to go. So this would be a really great beginner's learn to sew pattern. I would be willing to do a sew along for this one if anyone's interested, so let me know in the comments. But yeah, this is the collection that we have from Butterick for this early spring release.
As expected, there weren't any real standouts in this release because again, Butterick is not where you go if you're looking for flashy, fashion-forward pieces. But I do think there are some great staples in this collection. Those wide leg front pleated pants, the 5-piece like mini wardrobe set, and a couple of others. So let me know in the comments if you plan on making any of these for yourself or grabbing them to add to your collection to make at some point. Also, be sure to let me know how you feel about the layout of the screen recording versus doing like the picture-in-picture that I was doing previously. And until next time, happy sewing.